Imagine a young man, barely out of his teens, living a life of luxury. He's a pilot, a doctor, and a lawyer, all while amassing a fortune through cunning schemes. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Frank Abagnale, the notorious con artist who outwitted authorities across the globe. Frank Abagnale started a life of crime when he was young because he liked to break the rules and make money. Abagnale was born on April 27, 1948, in Bronxville, New York. He grew up in a middle-class home, but he quickly became interested in the high life. One of his first lies was pretending to be a Pan Am pilot, a job that would become very important to his later crimes. Frank Abagnale had already pulled off one of the boldest plans in history by the time he was 19. He had been able to pass himself off as an airplane pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, and more. However, his lies caught up with him in the end, and the FBI arrested him in 1969. Because he was being accused of fraud and forgery, Abagnale was in a tough spot because the law was against him. His bold escape plan came to him when things were like this. Abagnale's plan to get away was both brave and smart. He was able to get his kidnappers to give him special rights, like using a phone, by using his charm and personality. He took advantage of the situation by setting up a fake phone call to his lawyer. During the call, he told the guards that he was being moved to a different location. Abagnale made his move, getting out of prison and fleeing into the night while his guards didn't know what was going on. When Abagnale got away from the police, it started a game of cat and mouse that would captivate the whole country. With only his skills and the ability to lie, he set out on a cross-country journey, crossing the United States many times and taking many fake names along the way. Abagnale did everything from faking checks to pretending to be airplane pilots. He was always trying to avoid being caught. The FBI did everything they could, but Abagnale was always one step ahead. He left a trail of doubt and anger in his wake. He was great at hiding because he could fit in with any setting and situation. Police officers called him the chameleon because of this. The story of Frank Abagnale grew every day, and so did the strong desire to bring him to justice. The FBI began a national search to try desperately to catch Abagnale, but he kept getting away. Task groups were put together, signs with his picture were put up, and people were given prizes for information that led to his arrest. The police worked hard to find Abagnale, but he kept eluding them, slipping through their fingers over and over again. The chase hit its peak in 1971, when Abagnale was finally caught in France thanks to a tip from an airline flight attendant who didn't know what was going on. The fact that he was caught ended one of the most famous criminal cases in history, but it also made people wonder how well law enforcement works and how weak the criminal justice system is. Frank Abagnale's escape is still a great example of how charm, smarts, and drive can help you get away with something. His ability to trick the police and stay out of trouble for so long caught the public's attention and made him something of a folk hero. But it also woke up law enforcement by showing them how important it is to be more alert and tighten security in a world that is getting more complicated. Within the years after he was caught, Abagnale changed drastically. He gave up his life of crime and became dedicated to helping law enforcement fight fraud and identity theft. He is now known as one of the world's leading experts on white-collar crime and is a live model of how to change and stay strong. So, where does Frank Abagnale today? Does he still live a life of deception, or has he truly turned a new leaf? His story, a blend of audacious cons and a daring escape, continues to captivate. If you enjoyed this glimpse into his incredible life, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more true crime mysteries. And in the comments below, share your thoughts. What do you believe Frank Abagnale is up to now? Darkness, silence, miles beneath the sun. A steel serpent slithers through the earth. This is the escape route, the lifeline, and the legacy of El Chapo. Here, billions flowed, empires were built, and lives were sacrificed. El Chapo was born in 1957 in La Tuna, Mexico. He worked his way up in the Sinaloa cartel to become one of the most powerful drug lords in the world. His crime business spanned countries and brought huge amounts of drugs into the US and Europe illegally. Even though he was arrested several times, El Chapo stayed out of jail through bribes, threats and making deals with crooked officials. After years on the run, Mexican police finally caught El Chapo in February 2014. He was caught in a house in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, after a long police search that included both Mexican and U.S. officers. People praised his capture as a major win in the fight against drug crime. He was then sent to the Altiplano jail, which is thought to be one of the safest in Mexico. Even though El Chapo was locked up in a high-security jail, he started planning his escape almost right away. He planned the escape with the help of his large group of friends inside and outside of jail. People think that he carefully planned every part of the escape for months, even building the cave that would lead him to freedom. A small house about a mile from the jail was connected to El Chapo's cell by a tunnel that was a work of genius. The tunnel led to the shower area of his cell. The tunnel's building was a complicated process that needed specialized tools and skilled workers. The tube is thought to have taken months and cost millions of dollars to build. There was lighting, airflow, and a modified motorbike on wheels in the tunnel that El Chapo could use to get to the exit. The tube was just big enough for him to crawl through, which shows how carefully it was planned. The tunnel's walls were made stronger with PVC pipes and wood to keep them from falling down. The entry was hidden under a small building on the prison's edge. El Chapo carried out his risky plan to escape on the night of July 11, 2015. He used a complex system of pulleys to get down from the shower area of his cell into the tunnel. To make it look like he was still asleep in bed, he left behind a neatly folded pile of clothes. The moment he got inside the cave, he got on a new motorcycle and started his escape. Even though the jail had motion sensors and video cameras to keep people safe, El Chapo got away for several hours without being caught. When the jail staff found out he wasn't there, he was already long gone, having gone into one of the many caves that ran through the Mexican countryside. El Chapo's escape shocked people all over the world and showed how badly Mexico's jail system is run and how widespread organized crime is. The Mexican government started a huge search for him and offered a $3.8 million prize for information that led to his capture. At the same time, concerns were raised about the involvement of jail staff and the level of graft in the Mexican government. After a dramatic raid on a safe house in Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexican police were able to capture El Chapo once more in January 2016. People thought that catching him was a big win for law enforcement, but it also made people wonder if the security in Mexican jails was good enough. In January 2017, he was sent back to the United States to stand trial for drug dealing, money laundering, and other crimes. El Chapo's tunnels stand as a chilling monument to ambition, a testament to the lengths one man went to for power. Their darkness now holds a different kind of weight, a reminder of the devastation left in their wake. But the story doesn't end here. The tunnels remain, a silent scar on the earth and a chilling reminder of the blurred lines between ambition and brutality. What do you think? Did El Chapo's tunnels represent brilliance or barbarity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Steel bars, concrete walls, and armed guards are the hallmarks of a maximum security prison designed to hold the most dangerous criminals. Yet for Choi Gapbok, these seemingly insurmountable obstacles were nothing but a puzzle waiting to be solved. In the criminal underground, Choi Gapbok was a well-known figure for his sneaky and risky crimes. Choi was born poor in a small village in South Korea. His early life was full of hardship and struggle. He grew up in a badly broken home with parents who didn't help or guide him much. Choi didn't have many chances to go to school or get a real job, so he was pulled into the thrill of making quick cash and living outside the rules of normal society. From small thefts and mischief to more serious crimes, as Choi got older, he got more involved in small crimes. But his drive soon led him to more serious crimes, like bribery, theft, and finally joining organized crime. In spite of not having any formal schooling, Choi had a very smart mind and was naturally a good leader. These traits helped him move up very quickly in the crime underworld. There were many types of crimes that Choi was involved in. He was linked to many crime groups, both in the United States and other countries, and was involved in many illegal activities, including drug dealing, gun smuggling, and moving money. His friends respected and feared him because they saw him as the smart and cruel businessman. This made him a powerful figure in the criminal justice system. A news agency called Yonhap said that Choi was taken on September 12, 2012, on suspicion of stealing. People who arrested him took him to the Daegu, South Korea, police station and put him in a holding cell. The Yoji was used to cages because he had been in and out of jail for different reasons. He had been in prison for 23 years and had spent that time doing yoga. On this trip to jail, he would put this skill to a very different use. Choi was locked up in his cell for 5 days. Early in the morning on September 17, he put oil on his upper body and squeezed through the food slot at the bottom of the cell to get out. He sneaked past the 3 officers on duty, who were all asleep, and out of a small window. He got his head through the hole first, then moved his right arm and chest out. It appears that his rump became entangled approximately midway through, but he managed to free himself by lowering his shorts. An inspector looked at the video footage of the escape and said Choi did it in less than a minute by moving like an octopus. Choi was 5'4" tall, and the space he moved out of was 5.9 inches high and 17.7 inches wide. So the guards wouldn't notice too fast. He put pillows under his blanket to make it look like he was sleeping, just like in the movie Shawshank Redemption. According to the Korea Jungang Daily, Choi broke out of jail and ran into a nearby house, where he stole a credit card and car keys. There were police checks set up, but he left the car a few hundred yards from one and started walking toward nearby Mount Nam. Over the next 2 days, planes, tracking dogs, and a lot of people searched for the man. Choi kept moving through the mountains, hiding during the day and only moving at night, and he was able to stay out of sight. In the end, he got to Miryang. Someone in the town saw him get on a bus going to another city and called the cops. But Choi told the driver he was sick and wanted to get off the bus. The cops started looking for him again in the area, and sometimes they found signs that he was there. Lee, a farmer, said that he had a note from Choi in his house. He didn't report it right away because he thought it was a joke, but then he learned that some things from his house were missing, like a couple of packs of raiment. It said, "I'm sorry," and was signed Framed Thief Choi. Around 400 police officers started searching the area around Hanam-woo. They also used air tracking to look for the thief again after many sightings of him. After 6 days on the run, he was finally caught on September 22. He was hiding in a cardboard box on the roof of an apartment building in Miryang, which is about 30 kilometers south of Daegu. He kept telling the cops that he had been set up when they caught him. Police in Daegu put him back in jail and put him in a cell with no bars right next to the one he had escaped from before. In the new cell, the food slot was only 4.3 inches high and 5 inches wide. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories that will push the boundaries of your imagination.